Hi everyone, welcome to a new series I'd like to call, what am I gonna call it actually? Shit. Reading my viewers' comments, talking shit with my audience. I think that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to this new series called Talking Shit with My Audience. I've been trying to think of ways that I could interact with my viewers, cause I think so far from what I've done with this YouTube shit, my favorite part of it has to be interacting with commenters or just the people that watch my videos. Again, I enjoyed live streaming. I enjoyed live streaming, especially when there were people when there was people to talk to. So I'm trying to think of more ways that I can integrate my audience into my videos. Don't worry, I'm not getting rid of the other shit. I'm just adding stuff to my channel, fucking around and experiment. So in order to get this first episode going, I couldn't think of another way to get people to send me their comments. So what I did was I essentially posted an IG post, or I posted something on my IG status, right? And essentially it says, I have this YouTube video idea that I want to try out because I wanted to interact with more people who watch my content. I want to discuss people's takes or hot takes on any topic, political, music, or literally anything else. Or you can just ask me a question and I'll answer it in the vid. Obviously, I just wanted to make this clear. Your identity is going to be kept anonymous, so feel free to be as much of a degenerate as you want. So that's pretty much it. I posted this, I got a few replies, and I've taken a peek at a few of them. I'm actually very excited to answer some of these questions. If you want to be featured in the next video, if you want to be featured in the next video, just leave a comment below. You can comment it on this video, and I think from now on I will just I will take most of my questions for these videos in the comments of the previous episode. So for the next episode, if you want to be on the next episode, just comment on this one and I'll see you, don't worry. Or you can also just go follow my IG at Big Head Was Taken, by the way. I'll maybe post like another questions sticker and you can send me your question there, or you can DM me directly, who the fuck knows. Anyways, off to the first comment/question. Spell here right next time. What the fuck is he talking about? Oh, you know what? Suck my dick. Speed is bigger than Beyonce. Yeah, the GOAT. The GOAT himself, IShowSpeed. That's a different take. That's a different take. Now that I think about it, now that I think about it, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, because Speed is bigger than Beyonce amongst people our age. So like amongst my age range, so let's say 18 to not even 18, because I'm sure there's niggas younger than me who love Speed. So let's say about 14 to like 28, maybe 30. Maybe I'm stretching it with 30. But yeah, that's really where he's popular. But if we're talking about fucking Beyonce, bro, I mean, she's got generational fame, bro. Like 40-year-olds love her, 50-year-olds love her. There's probably some 30-year-olds out there too, as well as people from my generation and in their 20s. All of them are Beyonce. Like there's a bunch of Beyonce fans there. So if we're speaking raw numbers, nah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one though. But I do like my nigga Speed though. He's fucking hilarious. That dude is the weirdest individual to come out of the internet in like the past 3 years. I mean, like all of the dumb shit that he's done, the gay jokes, hilarious. Him setting off a firework in his room and being surprised that shit almost caught on fire. Has to be the most hilarious fucking clip out there. But like, IShowSpeed, man, IShowSpeed is good. I think the modern world is fucked, especially our generation, because basically everyone is obsessed with being right and the good guy. That's why there's so much social justice and stuff and canceling on Twitter. Okay, let me let me think about this. I see your point, right? Don't get me wrong. I see your point. I agree with certain parts of it, but I disagree with it being the reason why the social justice shit going on, especially how it's so prevalent now. I think the main catalysm, or not catalysm, the main catalyst for like just essentially cancel culture and all of that stuff is mostly because of all of like the rampant misogyny going on. Essentially, like, cancel culture started with the Me Too movement, right? Not the cancel culture we know now, the cancel culture that should have stayed that way, if you get what I mean. Like, the Me Too movement essentially was a hashtag that was supposed to give women a platform to voice their instances of sexual assault. Yeah, it started off great because like a lot of bad actors, especially in like this public celebrity space, have been exposed for a lot of the heinous things they've done. Cough cough. R. Kelly. Yeah, like a lot of them have just gotten their comeuppance. I think, however, like with all good causes, there's a very hectic extreme that comes with it, and I think that's what you're referring to here. That hectic extreme essentially being people getting cancelled over making mistakes. Certain mistakes, don't get me wrong, warrant cancelling, but like other ones, the first example that pops into my head is Kevin Hart. How he essentially got like booted off of the what was he supposed to host? It wasn't the Grammys. What was it? He was supposed to host the Oscars, and old tweets from like fucking 10 years ago just surfaced up. People found them offensive and they decided to cancel him and make him step down from the Oscars purely I think like just essentially they just decided to cancel him for it, which I think is kind of a bit unreasonable, especially if we're talking about shit that happened that fucking long ago. Like, just, was it an out of taste joke? I think it was. It is an out of taste joke in the current political climate that we're in. Back then it was more acceptable to make jokes like this. Whether you think that's right or not is entirely up to you. Personally, I think that there's just like different essentially time periods that allow and warrant for different things, and we're just in a time period that's like uber aware and uber sensitive of like things that people say. Like nowadays it's really frowned upon, but I just don't think it's right to hold people accountable for shit that they said like 10 years ago. Because I bet you now, if I were to go into each and every one of your guys' social media platforms, including mine, if you scroll down far enough, you're probably gonna find some fuck shit there. We all have skeletons in our closet in terms of things that we've said, and I think it's very unfair for me to then judge you, the person you are now, compared to the person you were 10 years ago. For instance, with me, I was fucking 9 10 years ago. I don't even know what the fuck I was doing, but even when I was like 12 14, I've probably said some shit that I would never say now. Yeah, that's purely just because I've grown and changed. I think it might be a little bit unfair to hold things up to a certain standard like that, and I think a lot of it is in large part due to your last point of everyone is being obsessed with being right even when they're not, by the way. And the whole canceling thing on Twitter, like, you so much as just breathe wrong on Twitter and you're getting cancelled, bro. It's dumb. I think it's gotten too far. It's become too much of an extreme. And yeah, that's like my thoughts on it essentially. Kanye West has changed, but has his music changed too? If so, is it for the worst or for the best? Alright, let me start this off by saying this. I am a hectic Kanye West fan. Massive. He has changed quite a lot though. He's not really the Kanye that I essentially fell in love with. When was it? How many years ago right now? Around the time he released Yeezus essentially. So like 2012, 2013. I think Yeezus came out in 2013. It's either 2013 or 2012. I'll check. But yeah, he's not that Kanye anymore. It's been like 10 years since then. In terms of him as a person, he's definitely changed. See, the issue with Kanye West is I think he's become way too drunk or high on being a revolutionary. I think that's the first issue. I'm gonna talk about his music in just a second. I wanna address Kanye West first, and then I'll talk about his music, because really his music is the most important thing about him to me. He's gotten really drunk on being a revolutionary, and as someone who is for his original ideology, right? His ideology being like super self-confident, almost to a point of bordering on arrogance, and believing in yourself, and just doing shit that you want to do. Essentially, that Kanye, like, I'm for that point that he made, right? I remember in an interview, I can't remember which interview it was, but he said, if you listen to my music, you're not a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself. My music is simply just the coffee that gets you going in the morning. And I think, in my opinion, he's lost that sense of, I can't say passion, he's lost that sense of humbleness. You get what I mean? Like, he's gone full force into his, let me not say arrogant Kanye, yeah, he's gone full force into his Christian Kanye era. For me personally, I think a lot of things started going wrong when he fully transitioned to making like gospel secular music. He's always really made gospel music, in inverted commas. If you look at his entire discography, there are multiple instances where he will make songs, or where he made songs that were religious in some way, or where he was open about his beliefs. Essentially, the song that like blew him up, his first hit song, was literally Jesus Walks, which is about as gospel of a song as you can get, minus the swearing, of course. It's not a surprise that Kanye West is religious. I think that a lot of the negative traits of Christianity and Christian people have become very prevalent in Kanye. The main and most recent example that I can think of is his anti-Semitism. As far as I'm aware, from like the amount of knowledge that I know about Christians and Jewish people, is there's a disagreement between them. They both essentially follow the same religion, right? They're both practically the same religion. They just disagree on certain aspects of it, right? So there's like a lot of inherent animosity that comes with Christians and Jews, from what I've observed, by the way. Him being anti-Semitic doesn't surprise me, because there's always just been a lot of conflict between Jewish people and Christian people. I'm not necessarily saying it has anything to do with him being Christian. The correlation personally is something that I've seen. I think his divorce with Kim is also something that really he's not, first of all, he's not handling it properly, in my opinion. His divorce with Kim, plus him not being on meds for bipolar disorder. He's bipolar, by the way, in case you didn't know. Him not being on those meds, I think, is kind of becoming very detrimental to his mental health. He needs to go on them. It's led him to like pushing his circles away, which is like one of the negative consequences of like just letting your manic episodes run, is that it can lead to shit like this. Which, as someone who's a Kanye West fan, it's hard for me to see him go through shit like this. His music has like meant a lot to me. It's gotten me through a bunch of shit. So to see him go through a bunch of shit and like self-sabotage, essentially, it's sad to watch. It's really just sad to watch. But the second question in your thing, regarding his music has not changed, in my opinion. Yeah, sure, he's leaned more into the gospel side of music, and like he's sort of pushed himself just like a little bit further away from the secular aspects of his music. Even though I feel like with Donda, he's found like a nice blend between the two. Like, yeah, like essentially like a healthy medium between the two. He's found that. But generally speaking, Kanye West has always been open about his religion. There are several bars from his entire discography that have some sort of religious connotation or message to it. And in his interviews, he's always been open about his religion, etc., etc. So I don't think his music has changed in that aspect. The thing is with Kanye West's music is that he's always willing to like evolve or just experiment or try something different. So like his music is always changing, if you get what I mean. If we're looking at it from that lens of Kanye's music is always changing because he's always experimenting with different things, then no, I would say his music hasn't changed, because he still changes his music a lot. Like he still experiments with a bunch of shit a lot. So yeah, those are my rambled takes on Kanye West. I probably have more that I just can't think of right now, but yeah, no guy can be close friends with a pretty girl without wanting her. Huh. Yeah, okay, I agree with you to a certain extent. If we're talking heterosexual to bisexual men, then sure. I don't think that there's an instance where they won't have some sort of sexual attraction to them, especially if that girl is that person's type or whatever, or it's just the type of girl that they find attractive. And also, by the way, the concept of a pretty girl, I think, differs from person to person. Not everyone finds the same shit attractive, you know, but like, I think you can't be friends with pretty girls without wanting them at a certain point. It's something you can get over, but at a certain point it's probably crossed your mind. Granted, I think there's like, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because like men who are in relationships, I know for me personally, as a man who's in a relationship, I am friends with like a bunch of very attractive women that I really don't want. I'm happy with my girlfriend. I'm happy with my current girlfriend. It's possible. It's just a bunch of requirements have to be met for it to be possible. But like, if you're a single dude, like if you're single and you're just fucking around and shit, chances are you have had some morbidly sexual thoughts for all of your for all of your friends who are women. Let's keep it apart. Adesanya's fans shouldn't be able to talk to Brazilians without calling them sir. Fuck you. Fuck you. You have insulted me as an Israel Adesanya fan. Kudos to Alex Pereira. He did a very good job. If they rematch, which they definitely are going to rematch, let's just be 100% honest. They're going to rematch. I don't see it going any differently. I feel like, again, Israel is just going to be the more superior fighter, and then if Israel can't just keep himself out of dangerous waters, or he maybe just plays it a little bit more aggressive, especially when he has Alex wobbled and stuff, then maybe he can get Alex out of there and then retain his belt. But the issue is that with their second fight, because they fought 3 times now, in their second kickboxing fight, the one where Izzy got starched, that's exactly what he did, is that he was a bit more aggressive. He tried to put him out, and Alex caught him and starched him. So yeah, I think Izzy can definitely beat Alex. He can. It's just that I think it's way easier for Alex to beat Izzy versus how easy it is for Izzy to beat Alex, if that makes sense. Yeah. Do you think that music has gone down, all genres, after 2016, 2017? That's a good question. What is my answer actually? My answer is no. I see why this question would exist. Era from let's say 2010 to 2016, 2017 was a pretty solid era in terms of fucking music. The music that's come out in that time period, Frank Ocean's Blonde, Tyler Creator's Flower Boy, I think Flower Boy came out in 2017. Ego came out in 2018, 2019, which is why I say no, by the way, because albums like that still exist. Migos with Culture One, just that era in music, specifically in hip-hop and indie music and all of that stuff, because I listen to a bunch of indie music as well. That era was heat. But I think we do have this, we're essentially looking at that time period with rose-tinted glasses. I'm confidently able to say that how I'm feeling about the music that's coming out now is the exact same way I felt about the music that came out in that time period when I was in that time period. It felt great and all, but now looking back on it, I'm like, oh shit, that shit was amazing, all of that stuff. But I really feel like we'll give it another, let's say, 7 years, we're gonna look back at this current time period of music and we're gonna be like, shit, that was great, I want that. It's how it is, especially when you involve nostalgia into it. Nostalgia is such a bittersweet feeling that often blinds us to how things actually were at that time. So I'd like to take the more neutral approach and just say that music has evolved since then. It's gotten better since then. We'll look at Lil Nas X for an example. He's gone full on gay in the hip hop community, which is damn near forbidden, essentially. Fucking hell. Jeez, I just realized how homophobic hip hop is. But he's able to fully express himself in the way that he truly feels, which has allowed him to make some like great music. I'm not the biggest Lil Nas X fan. I like a few of his songs, especially post gay Lil Nas X, but I definitely like respect his openness about his sexuality. I 100% respect that, and I think he should keep it going. He's made heat. Yeah, just kudos to him. Tyler, the Creator, as well, hasn't come out publicly as gay, like verbatim, or bisexual. He hasn't verbatim stated that he's gay or bisexual or anything like that, but he's like hinted towards it. He's hinted towards it a lot. If we're talking about Igor is literally, the entire album is essentially just a story about him and the conflict that he's having with his gay lover and his girlfriend, because his gay lover is still in the closet essentially, and he has to sort of navigate through that sort of negative situation for him and deal with the heartbreak that comes with the end of it, and that comes at the end of the album when he realizes that that person just wants to stay in the closet and isn't comfortable with coming out as gay. You know what I mean? So he has to deal with like the heartbreak of all of that stuff. Or I think that can be like a very strong example of Tyler being gay or at least bisexual. It's just allowed for so much more good music to come out. It's allowed for more good music to come out in a circumstance that wouldn't exist if like the music space hadn't evolved as a whole. Thoughts on the stereotype of female gamers only liking indie/chill games. Wait, women play video games? The fuck? Since when is this? Where are they? Where can I find them? Some guys primarily play indie games. Why is it associated with females? Obviously, this is an instance of it being a stereotype. I feel like, okay, I'm not a woman gamer. I don't have that many friends who are women who actively play video games as much as I do. But I know that the reality of what the what the female demographic of gamers play is a little bit more mixed than just, you know, indie games and all that stuff. Like, you'll find a bunch of women who play fucking Call of Duty, who play God of War, who play like action games, who play role-playing games as well. You can find them everywhere. The issue with that, right, is that, or not necessarily the issue, the reason why I think this stereotype exists is because gaming is a majority male dominated hobby. Let me see if I can find the percentage actually. Okay, so according to the website of Statista, it says that, geez, that split is actually a lot more shocking than I thought it was. The 48% of gamers are women. That's crazy, actually. That's wild. It's really surprising because from my personal experience, I have been playing video games for like fucking, I'd say 10 years. I'll say 10 years, maybe more of my life has been spent playing video games. And I've only come across female gamers. I've only come across them like 3 times. 4 times in total. It essentially becomes a thing of like, if you run into a gamer girl online, it's like you found this rare ass unicorn that just only pops up like once in a fucking lifetime, when the reality is a lot of them are out there. And I think the reason why, however, we don't come across that many gamer girls, especially like publicly, is because of how misogynistic the men tend to be. If you go into like a COD lobby or anything, and you're just speaking with like a bunch of dudes, and then all of a sudden you just hear this voice, everyone reacts like, oh shit, it's a woman, what? Which is funny, don't get me wrong, it's very funny, but like a lot of those interactions tend to take a very misogynistic and discriminatory turn towards women. I'm not saying all of them, by the way, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them tend to be very uncomfortable for the woman who's involved in it, and I think that's a problem because it's somewhat essentially deterring a lot of women from actually like being able to comfortably speak in public lobbies the same way the men can. So I think that's an issue that we need to fix. It's okay to make jokes about like a woman popping up, because I think the rarity of how many gamer girls there are versus the men, and like how hard it is to find them if you're looking for them, right? I think that shit is funny. It's very fucking funny. I just think we as the men have to be very careful in terms of how we treat them. Men just have a very odd propensity of being shitheads for some reason. I don't get it. What's it like dating a white girl? I don't, let me put it like this. It's the same. It's really the same. In terms of the way I feel, in
terms of like the way I feel about her and like our personal interactions and all that stuff, I really don't see how different it would be in comparison to dating someone of my skin color, a black woman or an Indian woman. I don't think there'd be that much of a difference. Culturally speaking, yes, even though I'm not that much of a cultural person per se, there is definitely that much of a contrast between my family and hers. But that's pretty much it. It's normal. Like, there's nothing different about it, really. It's just dating a white girl, I guess. Yeah. I think that's about all of the questions. If you enjoyed this, right? Because I did. I definitely did. I feel like I could make more of these videos. Like I said in the beginning, I want to figure out ways to incorporate more of my audience into my videos, like just to interact with them just a bit more, you know. I don't mind doing more of these. I don't know how often I'm gonna do them. Probably like once a week if I can, maybe, or like just once every so often when I see that there are comments or questions that people are asking me, that I can just clump them into this video and like answer them all here at once. But yeah. If you have any questions, any takes that you want me to speak about, just anything in general, leave it in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram, again at BigHeadWasTaken, by the way, and I will post another questions sticker there, and you can leave your question there if you want. My exams are done. I finished my exams. So now I have like all the time in the world to like just invest into doing YouTube, which is exactly what I'm going to do, on top of just enjoying my holiday, you know. But like, yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you idiots later.